The journey is my home, said the great American poet Muriel Rukeyser. There is no other statement that I relate to so deeply. In the best of times and in the worst of times, travel has been my constant companion.
Year 2020-21 has been difficult to everyone due to pandemic. It affected me greatly, both professionally and personally. I felt stifled and cornered. It was one of the most difficult phases of my life. In December 2021, when we thought things were getting better, we wanted to start a marketing to release our film. That's when third wave hit. More restrictions and rules came to effect. That was my breaking point. I decided enough is enough. I had to do something. Why not bicycle from Kanyakumari to Kashmir? Since my childhood, I love cycling. During my high school days, we used to cycle from home to school, and during my PU days, I was the only person in class to cycle to college. After that, during my engineering days or when I was working with Tech Mahindra, I never got a chance to bicycle. But when I came to films, quitting my job, I made a habit to cycle within the city. In 2016, I decided to do something crazy. Since I was wearing Ayyappa Mala for 18th year, I want to make it special. I took my bicycle and went around Karnataka, visiting every temple and scenic spot in Karnataka. I travelled around 3,500 kilometers in 38 days. I wrote a book on it, Sannyasi on Bicycle. Those 38 days were pure bliss, one of the most memorable events of my life. After cycling entire Karnataka, I wanted to do something big. K2K was a natural progression. So in 2017, I decided to cycle from Kanyakumari to Kashmir. But my friend suggested, do it once you finish your feature film. So I thought it's a good advice. Cinema takes a lot of time. So I finished my feature film in March 2020. But then pandemic hit. Since then everything has become uncertain. Nothing is going forward. Day by day I became restless, and finally I decided, let's do Kanyakumari to Kashmir. Making the decision was easy, but I had many things to sort out. One thing was my pending film works. The other was whether my mother would agree for my ride or not. I paused most of my work. The things which required my immediate attention, I delegated to my friend Pradeep. With these things sorted, I finally broke my news to my mother on Jan 14th. As expected, she was shocked. She questioned me, "You had done it already. Why do you want to do it again?" Then I had to explain that this is a different journey, a ride from Kanyakumari to Kashmir. She was silent with that. So, silence means she's fine with my decision. I did all my preparations in just 2 days. The luggage which I carried is just very simple. Basic clothes, medicines, puncture kit, a sleeping bag and a tent. With this done, I took my bicycle to servicing. I have a bicycle which is very basic gear cycle, Rock Rider 5.0 from Between. I began my ride on Sunday, Jan 16th. Since it was a lockdown in Tamil Nadu, the roads were completely empty. I took permission from the police to take my first bite of vlog next to the beach.
ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ದಿನ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಎದ್ವಾ ತಿಂದ್ವಾ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಲಗಿದ್ವಾ ಹಂಗಾಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಜೀವನ.
With great enthusiasm and energy, First day I rode very confidently. The roads in Tamil Nadu are super good. In 60 kilometers, I entered Kerala. I was a little worried whether my body would cooperate since I didn't cycle for a very long time. But everything was fine. By evening 7 o'clock, I reached Kovalam, Kerala. I would say it was a great start. Since I studied in convent, I have always related to Kerala culture, food and people. I enjoyed being there. I really loved their food. The only hitch was the temperature. It was too humid and the roads. The highways would suddenly become narrow and there are a lot of uphills and downhills. So since I was starting the ride, even the small uphills and downhills were too much for me. A ride is incomplete without problems. The first hurdle was in Calicut on day 5. The back wheel axle got cut and had to push the bike all the way 12 kilometers to Decathlon.
ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಡೆಕತ್ತನ್ ಹತ್ರ ನಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅದೊಂದು 100 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್ ಇದೆ.
No journey is complete without obstacles. In fact, it's these moments of difficulty and overcoming them that makes one's journey even more memorable.
It was a great ride in Kerala, covering more than 700 kilometers in 7 days. On the final day, I met this one amazing person. I call him Forrest Gump of Kerala. He was running from Calicut to Kasaragod and back Kasaragod to Calicut. If you know the reason, you'll be shocked.
Yeah, I can see that.
Breakup.
Okay.
My girlfriend breakup.
Okay, you're coming out of breakup and then.
Past 777 days.
Okay.
So I run 777 kilometers.
He was doing this to get over his recent breakup. One side we find people getting into depression after their breakup, but this man is doing something different and very constructive. Isn't that wonderful? After Kerala, it was Karnataka. First day in Karnataka, I reached Mudubidri, my friend's place. And the next day, I did nothing but just relaxing and eating fish.
ಸೊ ನೋಡಿ ಇವನೇ ನನ್ನ ಫ್ರೆಂಡು. ಸೊ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ ಮಿಲಿಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಾನೆ. ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ ಇದ್ದೋ ಮಿಲಿಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ?
Most of the stretches that I travelled in Karnataka, I have travelled there many times. Even in 2016, during my cycle trek in Karnataka, I travelled there. Roads are superb in Karnataka and food is my comfort. I enjoyed eating food here and I met a lot of people over here. I travelled some beautiful stretches in Karnataka, covering 400 kilometers via Bhatkal, Murdeshwara, Gokarna and Karwar. Then I entered Goa. Goa is a fantastic place and our fantasy too. I remember after my 10th standard, me along with my other friends came to Goa for first time in a matador. From Karwar, I reached Baga Beach on the first day. Next day I thought, let me relax in Goa. Then suddenly an idea struck. For many days I wanted to do bungee jumping, which is in my bucket list. So I thought, this is an opportunity, let me do it. So I inquired and the slot was there. So lucky me. This route passes through rustic villages of Goa. Usually what we do is we hop from beach to beach. We miss out on this kind of real Goa.
ಸೊ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಬಂಜಿ ಜಂಪ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ.
In life, if you have to achieve great heights, you need to abandon your fear and take a leap. For me, that moment when I jumped off the cliff, I felt the greatest fear I had ever experienced. But in the fraction of a second, it turned into one of the best experiences of my life.
ಆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಬಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಇದೊಂಥರ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ ಒಂದು ಹೈ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ.
It was an awesome experience and I would suggest everyone do it. Later that evening, I rode back from Mayam Lake to another beach called Turtle Beach. It was a beautiful beach and a very relaxing evening. The next day, I started my journey towards Maharashtra. First day in Maharashtra wasn't that bad. The roads were good. So first day I reached Rajapur.
20 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟ್ರ್ ಇದೆ, 5:30 ಈಗ. ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗುಡ್. ಬಟ್ ಹೇಳೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೈನ್ ಬಂತು ಅಂದರೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಸಿ ಹೌ ದ ರೋಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹೇಗೆ ನಾವು ತಲುಪ್ತೀವೋ ಟೈಮ್ಗೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡೋಣ.
From day 2 was the real game. Konkan strip is beautiful. At the same time, it has a lot of uphills and downhills, with the road getting constructed in a lot of places.
ನೋಡಿ, ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ರೋಡು ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಅಲ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ಯಾಚ್ಗಳು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ, ಇದೊಂದು ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೈನು ಒಂದು ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟ್ರ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಯಿತು. ಅದು ಇನ್ನೂ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೈನ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ ಇದೆ. ಟಫ್ ಇವತ್ತು, ತುಂಬಾ ಟಫ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ.
So that made it one of the difficult stretches in my entire ride. Previously, I used to ride 100 to 150 kilometers per day, but here I could hardly reach 80 kilometers. With great difficulty, I reached outskirts of Mumbai. That's where second hurdle happened. My back wheel axle got cut again.
ಸೊ ಕಳ್ಕೊಳಂತೂ ಹೋಗೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಯಾವುದನ್ನ ಗಾಡಿ ಬಂದರೆ ಗಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು.
Since there was no repair shop nearby, I need to take my bike all the way 50 kilometers to reach Thane Decathlon. Luckily for me, a truck driver gave a lift till Thane.
ಯಾರೋ ಪುಣ್ಯಾತ್ಮ ಟಾಟಾ ಎಸ್ಒ ಗಾಡಿ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸ್ದ. ಸೊ ಪನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಒಂದು 10 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟ್ರ್ ಇದೆ ಇನ್ನು ಆ ಡೆಕ್ಯಾಥ್ಲಾನ್. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಮತ್ತೆ ತಳ್ಳಲೇಬೇಕು.
Although I was ready for these hiccups, at such moments, I felt if going through all this trouble was necessary, I could as well have stayed home and been comfortable. But I knew that it is all momentary and that I need to push across and carry on for better things ahead.
I came out of Decathlon by 10 p.m. I took a room nearby and stayed there. The next day, I did nothing, just relaxed over there. After a day of relaxing, I started my journey towards Gujarat. When I was leaving Thane, Atul Oza, a senior cyclist, called me and accompanied me for 80 kilometers. He has a bundle of experiences and taught me a lot of things about cycling and helped me too. So that day, I reached Vapi.
चलो आपको फेसबुक में देखा है इनको, तो मैं कांटेक्ट किया, बोले चलो थोड़ा गुजरात तक राइड करता हूँ, विरार तक.
अरे
तो फिर बोला साथ में राइड किया.
Roads in Gujarat are too good, but there are too many heavy vehicles on the road because it's an industrial hub. I met a lot of my old friends, most of them whom I had met during my Sarpas trek.
ಇವರು ಅನಿರುದ್ಧ್ ಅಂತ.
I must mention Jagannath, who is 70-year-old, who was traveling to Vaishnavi Devi for 52nd time. He says that there is no place in India he hasn't travelled on his bicycle. He is full of energy and positivity. I would say he is a true sannyasi on bicycle.
था जगन्नाथ।
जगन्नाथ। तो कब से कर रहे हो सर ये वैष्णो देवी?
वैष्णो देवी मेरा 51 वर्ष है।
51 ईयर्स हो गया।
50 और 51 साल हो गया और पूरा भारत में मैं साइकिल की पूरा भ्रमण कर लिया है। मैंने किया उसने किया।
When I reached Ahmedabad, I decided to take another bucket list item, Kutch, White Run of Kutch. Parking my bike at one of my friend's place, I took an overnight bus to Kutch. White Run of Kutch is a surreal place. The experience is spectacular. I could see the view for hours together.
ನೋಡಿ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಲ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೂ ಅದು ಹಿಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಪ್ಪೇ ಇರ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇಳಿದು ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅದಷ್ಟು ಅದ್ರ ಪಾಡಿಗೆ ಅದು ಹೋಗ್ತಿದೆ.
After a great experience, I took an overnight bus back to Ahmedabad. Next day, I started my journey towards Himatnagar and entering Rajasthan next day. This was my first experience traveling through Gujarat, Rajasthan and Punjab. Till Gujarat, the weather was decent good, but when I entered Rajasthan, it was too hot. Days were very hot, whereas the nights were too chilly. On this journey, I felt saturated and tired many times. Some days were very difficult to even cycle for few kilometers. It is not physical exhaustion, but only the mind refusing to cooperate. In such moments, all I did was take a break and sleep it off for a few minutes and start again. It did not mean I was fully fine. It is just that I had convinced myself that the journey had to be completed. In Rajasthan, I rode through a lot of villages, met a lot of friends, and I even went to a school, met a lot of kids over there.
जितना तुम देश को देखोगे ना उतना तुम्हारा नॉलेज बढ़ेगा. तो वो भी एक मतलब विचार है कि मैं मतलब जाता हूँ तो लोगों से बातें करता हूँ तो अपना सोच विचार अच्छा होता है और ज़्यादा इंफॉर्मेशन मिलता है. ಮತ್ತು ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಗೋಶಾಲೆ ಇದೆ, ಗೋಶಾಲೆ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರೋ ಹಸುಗಳಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಇದು ನೋಡ್ಕೊತಾರೆ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್. ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ತುಂಬ ದಿನ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋದೇ ಒಂದು ಖುಷಿ ಸರ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
Another best experience of Rajasthan was going to Brahma temple in Pushkar and Ajmer Dargah. I met Pandurang Balerao, a 79-year-old man. He could barely walk, but he was fulfilling his childhood dream of traveling the entire India on his bicycle. Such an inspiration. Rajasthan is a huge state. Finally, after traveling 7 days in Rajasthan, I entered Punjab via Hanumangarh. The day I reached Punjab, Ramanpreet Singh welcomed me over there. He is teacher by profession and cyclist by passion. I had texted him in 2017 when I decided to do K2K because he had done K2K earlier. He took me to his village, Ablu. Ablu is a rustic and beautiful village. He is a wonderful host and took care of me.
मैं बहुत लोग देखा हूँ, मतलब जो आईटी वाले बहुत शौकीन रखते हैं साइकिलिस्ट का. मतलब आप पहली बार आप टीचर हो के वेरी नाइस ऑफ यू एक्चुअली.
He believes if you ride only on highways, it will be the same view everywhere. But if you want to see real India, you should go through villages. That's the reason he has taken me to his village, and from there again I passed through many villages for next day reaching Nirmal Singh's house.
ಸೊ ಇವರೇ ನಿರ್ಮಲ್ ಸಿಂಗ್.
After a great hospitality at Nirmal Singh's place, next day I went to Amritsar. Amritsar Golden Temple is beautiful and divine place. It's calm and peaceful. I would suggest everyone should visit there. Passing through farmlands of Punjab, I reached Pathankot. Dharmasala is very close to Pathankot. My friend Guru stays near Dharmasala. He wanted me to visit him. Next day, I parked my bike in Pathankot and took a bus to visit him. Dharmasala is a very beautiful place. It's again a very surreal place.
ಸೊ ಹಿಮಾಚಲ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ. ಸೊ ಬಂದಮೇಲೆ ಈಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ತೋರಿಸ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ ಯಾರು ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ. ನಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಗುರು.
The newlywed took care of me very well. I got to eat my comfort food. After a day stay in Dharmasala, I took a bus to Pathankot next day, and the same day I headed my journey towards Jammu. Stretch to Jammu was good, but around evening 5 o'clock I got flat tire. Since it was a Sunday, there was no repair shop nearby. So all I did was I took my puncture kit and fixed the tire. This is the first time I was riding in dark. Till 8 o'clock I rode to Jammu. My friend Prince had asked his brother-in-law to help me out in stay arrangements in Jammu. The next day I headed to Katra. As the view got spectacular, the ride got very difficult. By afternoon I reached Katra and started my walk to Vaishnavi Devi.
ಈ ಕಟ್ರಾಗ ಬಂದಿರೋ ಒಂದು ಪಾತ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ರೋಡ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಪಾತ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ. ನಾನು ಸೈಕಲ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು.
The temple is very special because of idol and location. So I had a wonderful time being there. The next day was very difficult. I headed to Ramban via Uddampur. Though the cyclists were not allowed in a tunnel near Ramban, a truck helped me out to pass through tunnel. So I reached Ramban by evening. It's a beautiful place again. Overnight it started raining heavily. The next day it was raining again. So forcefully I had to wait back in Ramban. When it was raining here, same time it was snowing in Srinagar. I felt I just missed by one day. Next day I started my journey from Ramban since it was not raining. It was one of the difficult and dangerous roads. I could see the stones falling from the mountains in front of me. Again, it was a magical moment. Banihal is a beautiful city. I think it's surrounded by mountains everywhere. From Banihal, there is another one tunnel. Again, the local police gave me a lift from one end to other. So that day, I was supposed to meet Srinagar I couldn't. I stayed back 30 kilometers before Srinagar in Sangam. The road is beautiful, everywhere it's snow. Except the road, everywhere it's snow. I had heard of stories of how Kashmir is breathtakingly beautiful. But only when I reached Banihal, I realized that its beauty cannot be captured in words. It had to be seen. It had to be experienced. I had seen busy cities, calm oceans, the green Western Ghats, scorching deserts, and finally I saw snow-clad Kashmir. From Sangam, the next day, it was hardly 30 kilometers, I reached Srinagar. It was an emotional moment because it was 40 days of my journey. I felt like I lived an altogether different life.
ಸೊ ಶ್ರೀನಗರ ಬಂದೆ. ಶ್ರೀನಗರ ದಾಲ್ ಲೇಕ್, ಲಾಲ್ ಚೌಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗಿ ಸೊ ಎಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ರೈಡು. ಸೊ ಎಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸೂಪರ್ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ಒಂದು ಅಚೀವ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಇದು. ಓಕೆ, ನಾಟ್ ಎ ಬಿಗ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಓಕೆ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ವೆರಿ ಹ್ಯಾಪಿ.
India is such a diverse and beautiful country. In Kannada, there is a saying, Desha Suttu Kosha Odu. It means to evolve as a person, it's not enough to just read, but it is more important to travel and meet people. I can sincerely say that I have changed into a better person after this journey, and it is only inspired me to take many more journeys like this. Let's meet again